Okay. Just dropping shit. Alright. Do you like my mug? I like my mug. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Maddie. If you're new here, I hope your day is going well. And today we are doing my September wrap up. Do you know what that means? That means it's October and it's spooky and it's raining right now and it's just so amazing. I'm very excited, as you can probably tell. Let's dive into the books that I read in the month of September. So in the month of August, I read 22 things, and the month of September, I read 12. So definitely went down in my reading. I got a little busy, got a little stressed, did a lot of fucking things, and now we're gonna talk about the books I read, because I liked a lot of them. Predominantly, I had a good reading month, but there was a few that I did not like and I'm thoroughly disappointed by, and I'm sure you guys are very excited to hear about those books. So let's go ahead and get into them right now. So in the month of September, I read a total of 9 adult books and 3 graphic novels. Didn't read any teen books, didn't read any short story collections or poetry collections, just adult books and just graphic novels. This is apparently my new brand. But the first book that I read in the month of September was The Tethered Mage by Melissa Caruso. I loved this book so much that I even followed up with it with its sequel, The Defiant Heir, by the end of the month. I am obsessed with this series, guys. I already wrote like a blog post fan casting this. I will link that down below or in the card. I am just obsessed with this series already. Okay, I'm gonna have to loosen this because I'm like, this is just a little too tight. I'm feeling like I'm gonna die. Wasting daylight here. Well, not really daylight because it's dreary as fuck here and I love it. For sake of spoilers, I will not be talking about The Defiant Heir in this video, but I will be going a little in depth into The Tethered Mage because I do fucking love this series so much. This happens to be about 2 women. The main character's name is Amalia, and she happens to be the daughter of a very important political figure in the like kind of Venetian-esque inspired government, and I absolutely love her character. She's very studious, she's very politically minded, and she's smart as fuck, but also really badass. So she accidentally, like, basically bonds herself to a fire mage named Zyra, and Zyra is so not about this life, but basically they've been bonded together forever, and this book was pitched to me as a female-female romance. It is not that between these 2 characters, but Zyra happens to be bisexual, and that is so fun. I also really enjoy this series, specifically because these 2 female characters' voices don't get lost in translation. I don't know if it's because it's only from Amalia's perspective, but I've had a lot of issues between having one studious female character to one brazen female character, but I still find that even though Zyra sometimes feels like a 2-dimensional character, she does stand her ground versus Amalia, and I just love this series, guys. There's a slow burn romance in the series that I just like just cannot fucking handle. It's so good. I just love this series. Even if you don't like fantasy, I recommend the series because I will not shut up until you read it, so get used to it. And the next adult book that I read this month that I absolutely fucking loved was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I loved this a lot. If you haven't read this and you like romance with a little bit of smut, you need to get on this. You need to get on it. This happens to be about a woman who is on the autism spectrum, and she hires a male escort to teach her about sex, and at first I was like, that sounds kind of weird, but okay. But I loved it. It was so good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and that is rare for me for a romance novel. I tend to be very critical about things being realistic, and of course this is not like the most realistic of books, but it was so nice and so lovely, and I highly recommend it. It was very enjoyable. And a book that I enjoyed thoroughly so much that I actually read it all in one sitting was Social Creature by Tara Isabella Burton. This book, guys, is so interesting. I talked about this in my If You Disliked This, You'll Like This video already this month, or already last month, and I fucking loved this. This is about Louise. She's a almost 30-year-old woman living in New York City, and she's super broke. She actually ends up meeting Lavinia, who is a young 20-something living in New York, who's rich as fuck. Super fucking filthy rich. And Louise and Lavinia start this really intense friendship, and things kind of get shitty, as you could probably tell. It was really intense. It was a fantastic thriller. Like, this doesn't look like a thriller, but it's definitely a thriller, and I highly, highly recommend it It was fun. The anti-heroes in this were done flawlessly. I highly recommend this. And now we're kind of getting into the ones that I didn't really like this last month, and that would be European Travels for Monstrous Gentlewomen by Theodora Goss. This is the sequel to The Alchemist's Daughter. This happens to take characters from like the Penny Dreadfuls and the classic horror literature like Frankenstein and Dracula and kind of takes them into a different kind of genre, but makes them like kind of like a superhero team. It's a lot of fun, but this sequel was too fucking long. It was like 800 pages and it could have been cut in half. Like there were definitely like monologues from certain characters where they were just repeating themselves over and 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 over again. So many fucking times. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because I do really like the world that they're constructing. I do really like the representation of so many different like characters and Easter eggs. If you really like this classical literature, you're going to love this series. But oh my god, it was too fucking long. Like, in all honesty, it was probably more like a 2-star book because it was just so long and so overly done that it just ruined a lot of the elements that it was trying to do. There was no tension whatsoever, but otherwise I really enjoyed the characters and I really enjoyed the world. And moving on to my only 1-star book of the month that thoroughly disappointed me, and it was on my fall TBR and you guys were really excited about it too, and that is Barberie Station by R.E. Stearns. This was blurbed to me as lesbian pirates. Space pirates, if you couldn't tell. Lesbian space pirates. Space pirates.
Lesbian space pirates.
That sounds fucking amazing. This, however, is not. If you can take lesbian space pirates and make them boring, that's what this book did. I got put in such a big book slump because of this book. I'm gonna tell you why. Get ready for the tea. So, this book pissed me off because there is a relationship, obviously, between the two characters even before they've entered the storyline, and I couldn't believe it at all. I didn't see their chemistry, I didn't understand their relationship. I love them as 2 separate characters, but I don't really understand why they were getting together. And also, one of them kept being like, I should propose to this other girl even though we're about to die. So many moments of, oh, we're going to die, or this person just died, and there was no emotional tension whatsoever. This was definitely one of those books that tries to keep the tension at like 100% the entire time, but since you're at 100% the entire time, it just gets like, okay, no one actually dies, then there's no actual danger, so the tension is not. It was just really frustrating. And the world building was just so weird. You definitely had moments where you were dropped in and you just had to figure it out on your own, but then there were other times where it was deeply explained. It was just really fucking weird. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. You couldn't really figure out who the bad guy was. There was like an AI that was running loose, but like you couldn't figure out if the AI was bad or not, or if it was awake or not. It was just really obnoxious storytelling at times. Like, if you were someone who really likes hardcore science fiction, you might enjoy this, but I still believe the way that this was told was just done in a weird fucking way, and it just didn't work for me at all. Like, I got to the end of this book and was so fucking angry that I wrote an entire Goodreads review, and then Goodreads deleted it, and I decided I wasn't going to fucking remake a Goodreads rant review. So, this is what we're doing. I hated this book. I don't remember anything else about why I hated this book, but I really fucking hated it. I might have given it 2 stars, but the fact that it was so fucking bad and it made space lesbian pirates boring, got it a 1-star review. Sorry, not sorry. It was not fun. I will be getting rid of this book. And the next book that disappointed me a lot was Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I know, that's pretty fucking weird coming from me, but I thoroughly didn't enjoy this book. It was kind of probably maybe because I just read Barberie Station. I also read European Women, Monstrous Women. Like, those books were just too long. I didn't get what I wanted from them, and this book was kind of the same thing. This is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling I happen to love Uprooted by Naomi Novik. But this book follows 3 main perspectives, and I just couldn't get attached to any of them. I don't know, it was just, I didn't like it, it didn't do what I was looking for, and it kind of bored me to tears at some points. Like, I was definitely skipping people's perspectives if I didn't like them. That's weird for me. I love multiple perspective books, and I was skipping perspectives in this book. Like, skimming, not skipping, but like, that's this is not a good look. Like, I'm assuming there's gonna be people that like this type of storytelling, but this one just for me just didn't work. I do think this would be a really amazing book to take up on like a winter cabin trip and like read by candlelight and not have anything else to do while you're reading it so you can focus on it. But that's not what I was doing with this book. I was reading it really quickly because I did not read a lot during this month because of books that slowed me the fuck down. And that was one of them. So yeah. It didn't work for me whatsoever, but that's fine. And the last 2 adult books that I read in the month of September were Vicious and Vengeful by Victoria Schwab. These books obviously got 5 stars out of 5 stars. This was my reread of Vicious, and I fucking loved these. They're so good. If you have not read Vicious, first of all, how dare you get on that? Second of all, this is about Victor and Eli. They are 2 really shitty college students. They're too smart for their own good, and they figure out how to give themselves superpowers. And the only trick is you kind of have to die. So, based on that, go with it where you will, but I love these books so much. I tabbed up Vicious a lot. I had a lovely time rereading this. It was so good. But the one thing that I would say about Vengeful is I read it too fast and during a time politically where I was not in the mental state to be handling this particular type of book, but I think it is such a relevant book, and I got to see Victoria Schwab again. It was so much fun. But I definitely think that I need to reread Vengeful very, very soon because I did not retain as much information when reading this book that I would have if I had taken my time with it. But I did not. I read it too fast because I was trying to vlog it. It didn't really work. But yes, they were good. They're amazing. You should read them. Right now. Go read them. Click off the video. Don't click off the video. What are you doing? Stay here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, moving on. Alright, and I read 3 graphic novels in the month of September, and I will start with Hellbreak, Volume 1. This happens to be about a special ops teams that literally break people out of hell, and the art is really cool, but in all honesty, it didn't really make sense to me a lot of the times, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I also read I Hate Fairyland Volume 4. This definitely broke my heart a little bit, guys, because I think this is the last volume, and I love this series so much. This series is about a little girl who is stuck in fairyland for 30 years. She's like a 30-year-old in an 8-year-old body, and she is crazy, and I love this series a lot. If you haven't read it, you should read it. And then another series that you should read if you haven't read already is the Saga series. I read Saga Volume 9 on the last day of September, and it broke me. It broke me a lot. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not really that critical of graphic novels, but this one was okay. So if you read the Saga series, please get on this. It's coming out very, very soon. I got it on Hoopla. It's already there, so if you got Hoopla, fucking read it. And I need people to talk to about this book, so you get to that, please, 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 because it hurt. It hurt a lot, and I'm mostly just stunned and in disbelief. Like, I don't believe what happened at the end of this graphic novel, so you need to read it so I can talk to you about it if you read these. So yes, I'm gonna go. Alright guys, that was my September wrap up. Let me know down in the comments what you read in September. Let me know if you want any reviews on these books, or if you want, I don't know, me to read some of your books that you read in September. Just fucking let me know. I'm gonna go now, guys. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye!